Bam! We're live. Welcome, you guys. This is the Dr. Nick's Amazing Man Stuff YouTube channel. Yes, YouTube. You can also find this company on Instagram if you guys want to look that up. But on YouTube, this is a live stream every single Tuesday for 130 episodes in a row. And it is titled The Doctor's Orders. We talk about anything and everything, and most of it's not beard related. So, if you have a coworker that won't get you in trouble, if you got a family member, if you got a friend, if you got some internet peeps, share this out with them. They can get in on this conversation, the tangents, the thoughts, the reflection, the laughs, any of that. We do appreciate it, you guys. We're going to catch up on the weekend. We're going to talk about some random things. And then, as always, how often do you get a platform where one of your favorite company's owner is right in front of you, the other owner is in the chat, and they can answer any questions that you guys have about the company, the products, or any regard. So please feel free to drop questions or comments in the chat. They are here for you guys. My name is Dan C. Bearded. I'm on the tail end of a little sickness here, as you guys can hear, but it's almost clear, almost out, just a little bit of like cold-like symptoms. So if you're like, man, Dan sounds a little bit more raspy, a little bit more sensual, it's not on purpose. It's just nature, So you're welcome, by the way. And if you guys could hit that thumbs up on the way in, on top of the sharing out the stream, we're gonna have a great time tonight. I know that even with a little bit of sickness, it's gonna feel even better at the end of this stream. And I would like to introduce you first off to Mom. She's back this week. Julie, we missed you last week. Thank you for being here. And we might actually have a topic that might involve you a little bit today. So we shall see. We shall see on this one. Oh. And okay, Jill's heading out to an appointment. Catch you on the flip side. All right, Jill, thank you for stopping in so much. Have a great appointment. Other than that, I would like to welcome you guys to the co-founder, the creator, the man with the smart glasses. Not that the glasses are like digital or anything. It's just they make him look smart. No sound. All right. Abe, I think that might be you. Unmute, right? Everybody else good on the sound? I think we would have heard by now. But the man with sound, the man with style, the man with tatted up, Dr. Nick's black on black on black, especially that murdered out hat. Please help me welcome the doctor of time and space himself, Mr. Nick Phelps.
And here we are. Once again, I think the coming over the sickness thing kind of adds a nice dynamic, to the voice. You very, if you were to have like a Sean Connery scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the least like Sean Connery and 10 being the most like Sean Connery, I'd say you're squarely at a 7.5 right now.
I'll take that.
That's pretty Sean Connery today.
Compared to where I was this weekend, hey, that's a huge improvement. That'll
work.
Oh,
no, you weren't there. You were Wilford Brimley this weekend, or maybe had a little bit of Milton Berle to you. Everyone should know both of those people, depending on where you are in the country. You know how, depending on where you live, you either get Samoas or caramel delights for Girl Scout cookies. It's like,
really?
Yeah, because it's one bakery calls them one thing that produced them for them, another bakery calls them another. They're supposed to be the identical recipe, but we all know they're not, and Samoas are better. But I think it's very, very it's very similar to knowing either Wilford Brimley or Milton Berle, because if you're down south, one of them was on your diabetes commercials on TV, and if you're up north, a different one was on your diabetes commercials on TV. So it's like
interesting.
You only know those guys for 2 reasons, and that's, I think, both of them.
I had looked this up because I knew one when I went out your way. You guys have something that's regional that they call different where we're from, or Sam was bringing it up, but Boston brown bread.
So there's Irish brown bread,
right?
And then I suppose maybe they called it in Boston brown bread, but are they the same thing? Is Irish brown bread and Boston brown bread the same thing?
Yeah, but I was told that in your guys' area they call it Boston brown bread, and then everywhere else it's Irish brown bread.
Oh, see, it's here. It's on the menu as just brown bread.
Okay, all right.
So they don't really. Now that I was gonna say that I've seen it called Irish brown bread, but now that I think about it, there's a breakfast place, and they have brown bread, and they have like the blood sausage, the white and black pudding, the whole thing, just like all the Irish stuff. And we just recently found another one called the Voyage that has like full on real Irish curry, like fries and gravy with chicken. Like,
Wow.
oh, holy crap. There's some good stuff.
Amazing.
But yeah, on their menu, it's just called brown bread.
Okay. All right. Yeah, interesting. We've probably talked about it before, but I love regional slang. It's something that's super fun to me. I was just out somewhere and it was like a grandma with her we were at Nordstrom Rack. Literally Nordstrom Rack, right? You know, the like warehouse clothing store.
Love that place.
Yes, amazing. Unbelievable. I got a pair of shoes because I now have foot problems and have to wear a specific kind of shoes.
Because you're getting old.
I told you about my extra bone, right?
Oh, yeah, because you're an overachiever even in the feet.
I said that last night on stream. But I was
I'm such an overachiever. I have extra bones in my feet.
Yes. And I was in the aisle, and this grandma said to her like 5-year-old son, she was like, "Honey, go get the buggy." I was like, "Oh my gosh, you're not from here. You're from Pennsylvania. That's so cool." Because they call shopping carts buggies.
Down south, they call them buggies too.
Yeah, and
like down like
a little
like in Georgia, Florida, like they call them buggies.
Yeah.
Up here, they call them carriages, I think, right?
Yeah, I think that's one of them. Yeah, we just call them shopping carts or carts.
I just call them carts. I've always just called them a cart.
Yeah.
When someone was like a carriage or like this, I'm like, is it like a, okay, no.
A shopping trolley in Australia. That's cool.
Shopping, what do you pull it? Trolley listen, if Australia has named something a trolley that you push in front of you, I got a problem. Like I'm willing to let a lot of stuff slide, Australia, like a whole bunch of it. But everything cannot be so ass backwards. Like you really can't. Like pick a direction.
Yeah, and then one is what is it? It's a drinking fountain or like a fountain drink.
A water bubbler. Up here it's called a bubbler. Yep. Water fountain's called a bubbler.
Yep.
And no, that applies to both the water fountains that are on the wall and water cooler water dispensers that you'd keep like in your kitchen or a break room. That's a bubbler. And the thing on the wall is also a bubbler. But neither one is a dispenser or a fountain.
Right. England and Ireland, it's a trolley as well.
All right. These things better be pulled behind you in England and Ireland as well.
Yes.
Or else I'm about to have a big problem with just Europe in general.
Frappe is my favorite New England term. Like
frap.
Frap? What's frap?
A milkshake.
Oh, see, we call those like a Starbucks. It's a frappe, right?
Yeah, it's frap. I mean, if you want to be fancy about it, like Joe Dirte, don't try to dress it up, dirt. It's a frap.
Interesting. Yeah, Nate says bubbler means something completely different when I was growing up. Well, I can think
Nate
of two.
Right there with you, bro.
Yeah, that one I did not participate in, but at that time, or another bubbler is I grew up with celiac disease, not knowing I had celiac disease. That's the real bubbler.
Yeah, that's, yep.
And yes, Rob, it is a thick milkshake. Timely
thick
comments.
Milkshake and strong fates. That's what I always say.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, Moose. So yeah, Moose moved. I love going to new areas, even if it's on a vacation, and then you get into that regional slang, and it's so interesting and how it works, or even like, and some things get blown out of proportion, but one that's real is that East Coast, that Boston love for Dunkin' Donuts. Like, it's not mentioned here. People don't talk about Dunkin' Donuts. And it's a dang near religion when I went to go visit you guys.
Why would you? Okay. Yeah. And it's like the America runs on Dunkin'. No, New England definitely runs on Dunkin'. And people, you're right, dude. People are religious about their Dunkin' Donuts up here. And you know what the funniest thing, though? This is, I do find one. There is a piece of New Englander pain that I just really enjoy witnessing.
I don't know where this is going.
So when people from New England are traveling with you out of state and you manage to find them a Dunkin' Donuts to get their coffee, watch their utter disgust at the person at the Dunkin' Donuts not understanding what they're ordering. Like, let me get a medium hot, regular, extra. And people at the window are like, "You want a what kind of coffee?" And they're like, "Wait, you want a?" And they're like, "Yeah, medium, hot coffee, regular sugar, extra cream." Like, You can go regular, you can go extra, it's extra sugar and extra cream. You can just go regular across the board. And so like, but no matter what anyone's Dunkin' Donuts order is in New England, it does not translate to any Dunkin' Donuts outside of New England. And they get so pissed. It's just the funniest thing to watch in the whole world. I just really enjoy it.
Oh, I bet. And yeah, Warren, interesting. Yeah, we know Starbucks is from Seattle, so it gets love there. I think across the country, it kind of gets a negative stigma and hate to it. But Dutch Bros, in the areas where we've traveled where they have Dutch Bros, people are passionate about it. Like,
yeah,
what is it? It's one of their white drinks. I forget what it's called, but I know that one's really popular.
That is like a cult following kind of place. I don't know what that is, but it's kind of like how Pete's has gotten like out in California. So you got Pete's in California, and it's like that's big there, but it's kind of like crap everywhere else.
Yeah. Oh shoot, somebody will get it on I'm blanking right now because Sam like had to try it, and it was all white for like, and it was iced, I believe.
If anyone hasn't watched the Casey Affleck Dunkin' Donuts fake commercial that was from Saturday Night Live back in the day, they need to make sure they go do that after this stream. You'll really appreciate it. It just kind of it captures Boston at its core.
All right, Nick, this is from Jim, regionally local. Name one thing that does translate outside of New England.
He's being cheeky, and the answer is I can't, because there really isn't much. It's like there's basically nothing that people say here that isn't like a mainstay of slang that actually works anywhere else. It's kind of like idiocracy. Like if you show up anywhere else in the country, they're going to think you're talking some version of like hillbilly mixed with like Valley Girl somewhere, and they're not quite sure where to pin you. And it's you're just going to confuse everybody.
Interesting.
I think it's like chapter 2 on how to lose friends and alienate people is talk like you're from Boston.
Right. Well, you've got two extremes, because if you talk like you're from Hawaii, you're going to like have some heads turned like, who's this guy trying to be? Who's this like red bearded, like pale dude talking like a Hawaiian bro?
People would just start talking over you. They would just choose to not acknowledge you because it scares and confuses them. And they would just kind of disregard your words, I think. And they would just kind of just, talk.
Now, if you go to Hawaii right now and you talk in the way that you're raised there was common in culture, would it be accepted? Would they be like, oh, he's authentic, he gets it? Or how would that go?
Yeah. So, if it was like one of those things where I tried to like, say whole sentences in pidgin, like I was, you know what I mean? Like it would definitely be frowned upon, but letting my natural, once in a while words and words and phrases getting mixed into things, that wouldn't be looked at as like sarcastic or anything, because they'd get it. And it would sound natural, because it does work its way into my normal speaking anyway, if I'm, talking to people who are from Hawaii.
Okay.
But I have a bad, like I told you before, though, I have a bad habit of like, I'm so used to blending into new groups of people that I have to really tell myself to not speak in an accent when I'm talking to people with an accent.
Well, they probably didn't realize you lived there for 3 years or 4 years or all these different places you lived.
Right. Exactly right. That's the problem. And it's like, yeah. And apparently I realized if you have a certain amount of time in Hawaii, my buddy Gabe was telling me about this, that you can get marked as Kanaka, which is, basically, your roots are in Hawaii. And you can actually get, if you grew up there and you went to school there and you spent a certain amount of years there, they'll actually issue you a Hawaiian birth certificate if you move back and want to live there with a naturalized birth certificate.
Really? What's their incentive for that?
For in case Hawaii ever becomes a sovereign nation on its own again, people want to stay there with it.
Okay.
People will be allowed to travel if that's the case. That's never going to happen. But.
Right. So there is one thing that translates out of New England, Dr. Nick's Amazing Man stuff.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. And Jim needs you to say this one. the locals.
I will read that in my head, because there's no way to say that with an F and an apostrophe. And this is a PG-13 stream.
True. Okay. I love it, you guys. All right, Nick, I want you to set the stage. I got a picture and possibly a video, but I want to hear about your weekend, what you guys did, and then I want to put it all together, and then I'll show the picture in the video.
Oh, nice. Oh, dude, there's actually a pretty funny story that leads up to the photo that I imagine would be the one with my arms up here. Yeah. So
it is. Yep.
we drove up to so like last week on what was it, Wednesday. We drove up to Killington, Vermont to go up and go skiing, snowboarding. Jill skis, Jack and I snowboard. I'll say I snowboard, and I'll say that Jill French fries, or she pizzas her way down the hill very effectively. She's a very effective French fry pizza very effectively the whole way down. Jack's, probably in his first year out of lessons. So he spent a lot of time on his face, which there's a couple of videos that need to get turned into GIFs of just scorpion legs going over his head on the hill. It's too good not to capture those moments in repeating GIF. So we were at Killington Mountain, and we went to the main resort up top. It's about, what is it? It's like 3.5-ish hours north of us. It's on the bottom side of Vermont, which is nice because it's not like on the Canada side of Vermont. It's kind of down on the New Hampshire side of Vermont. But I've never been there before, and it was a fantastic mountain. I mean, as far as East Coast skiing goes, which I'm just not a fan of in general, it's one of the better East Coast skiing places, resorts that I've been to anyway. Really nice. They had some nice wide trails, groomed really well. It was cool. People are nice. And so, and this is my second time riding a new board that I got a couple of years back too. And I really like it. It's the only first one I've ever bought, and it's the only one I have of a directional snowboard, which is kind of cool. So you can't ride it either direction. It's a unidirectional snowboard, but it's so nice for going in straight lines. Holy heck. Like, I had no idea what a nice fishtail on the back of a snowboard does for you when you're going on straight paths. It's really nice. So Jack eventually gets to the point where he needs to just kind of go to the magic carpet hill and hit the small hill and practice a couple of things that he was struggling with throughout the day. Mainly, not banana boarding his way down the hill on accident, trying to keep one foot forward and control your forward foot. So like he's working on practicing that. And Jill and I are like, sweet, we'll leave him there for a bit. And if you look at the map of Killington, if you pull up one of the maps that's marked, like that one right down there. Yeah, that one would work too. Or that one. There you go. Yeah. So if you look at this guy, there's a lot of runs, right? And if you kind of looked, I guess that K1 Lodge there at the bottom that you see, that black box at the very bottom, that's where the gondola hits. And then what ends up happening is down, you can't see it, but on the lower left of all that and at the bottom of some of those greens is where we had Jack. So we were like, okay, we'll leave Jack there. And we go up one of those lifts where the red lines are above Dan's mouse, right up that red line. And then we can ski back down to the right and then catch that gondola, right? So we're like, okay, cool. We're going to go down and we're going to catch this thing, go up and hit a good run. Well, we got on the wrong damn gondola. We didn't go on the K1 Lodge one there on the right. We got onto one that was kind of to the left of that. Yep, goes straight up to your left from there. Yep, right up there. And it's all blacks to get down with one blue and one green called Northeastern, the Great Eastern or something like that. So here's the funny part about all of this. Long build up to what screwed us. And so Jill and I are excited. We're on this high speed four chair lift, and we're getting, 3/4 the way up. And I'm like, baby, that doesn't look like, are we going over that? I'm like, that doesn't look like the top of a hill. It looks like we're going up to a wall. And like, it literally looked like this thing was just going up to a wall and you just saw cables go over the top of it. Like, you couldn't see the lift station. You couldn't see the top of the hill. It was just all of a sudden no trees and like literally just like a sharp line of a ridge up at the top of this thing. And so we get off the lift and we're on this thing, dude. And like, from where we took this photo that you can show is like, you can literally look off one side of the mountain and walk like 10 feet and look off the other side of it. Like, we're on the ridge of this damn mountain. Like, it was right there.
That's
and so we find this run. We're like, okay, cool. So we're up there at Sky Peak. We're like way the hell up there. and we find a way basically to come down this great eastern path. And actually, Killington Peak is where we ended up. It was the left gondola line that leads up to that one right there. Nope, right to that one. Kind of, yeah. So that green line over to the side, that's the path we had to go down. So it was the only green. It's the only one Jill could make it down. Dang. So here's the problem with that. It doesn't go down to the bottom to the K1 Lodge. It doesn't go down to the snow shed where Jack was either. It goes a 15-minute drive away from that K1 Lodge on the other side of the mountain. So we have nothing but a snowboard and skis with us. And we now have Jack a 15-minute drive on roads away from us. Like this run we went on was so damn long. It went through like a condo complex. It went through like, yeah, that's the edge of that peak.
Huh. That's
so like
so
you see that edge that's right there?
Yeah.
That's like, dude, we're talking this.
Jeez.
Like if you jumped, you weren't landing on the hill. You were landing way further down than where you jumped.
That's crazy.
And so these people were going up to the edge like this chick is and like putting skis like over the edge. Like it would be like this, like
nope.
Skis like over the edge. They're in the air and then they go hop and then they just go.
like a half pike.
Yeah. And dude, it was that much of an angle. And so that's where Jill and I were standing, figuring out like, which way do we go? So we ended up taking this thing, dude. Yeah. 15-minute drive away. We found ourselves. We found a shuttle and we're like, how long until you get back up at Snowshed? He's like, well, I got to go over here to Sunday and then I got to go here to this place. And then I got to pick up this lift operator over here. And he's like, then we'll go back up to K1, probably about half hour. So I'm like, we're like calling Jack. We're like, all right, dude, just go into the lodge, grab a hot cocoa and a cookie or something. We'll be up there in about a half hour.
Wow.
So we were so far away, we had to take a damn shuttle bus to get all the way back to the resort that we went on because we screwed up so bad that we ended up on the other side of the mountain.
Well, that's an adventure. That's an adventure. Yeah. But
perfect.
No, that was not the picture I was thinking of. That one hasn't come out yet. But the one I was getting at is this one.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You know, once in a while, once in a while, you just got to strike a pose when you're changing boots in the back of your truck.
Right. Now,
I mean, it's important.
Is all this gear yours? Like, is this stuff that you guys do, or do you rent stuff? I don't know anything.
No, that's all mine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually just got that jacket and the pants. It was I was looking for something else, and it was like, it's all 686 stuff. It was really nice, and I was like, it was deeply discounted. I'm like, you know what? Everything I have is black. It's or camo. Everything I have is either black or camo stuff for snowboarding, and my snowboard is black and white. And so I was like, you know what? I think the white might actually be pretty cool because it worked with everything else I had that was black, and it ended up working out.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, my extent of like skiing knowledge is a sky versus urchin. Like that's all I got from Johnny Tsunami. That's all I got.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take it.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Dude, it was that's a great place though, man. If you're looking for a good place in Vermont to go skiing, you haven't been there yet. It's a really good one. The cool little area too.
I've never snowboarded or anything.
You know what? It's one of those things that I do so infrequently that I never got any good at it. Really, like I'm proficient. Like I can make it down steep blues and an easy black. Like, do I want to? Like, hell no. But I saw Jill. I was like, hey. That's the hill that we had Jack on, where they have the little, a green run to go up to the top. And then they have like a little carpet ride thing down at the bottom. But I got busted for breaking the speed limit on it when I put Jack down at the bottom, and Jill were taking a break she was taking a break with Jack. And I went up to the top and I was like, I'm going to bomb this little green like it's never been bombed before. And I go hauling ass down and I get like the slow down hands from one of the ski instructors.
Oh.
And I'm like, I'm off the groomers. I'm over in the powder. I wasn't where people were learning. And I get down to the bottom and the guy's like, and I was like, uh-oh. I was like, what'd I do? He's like, we try to keep people at about 25 or so on this hill. You're doing about a 40. And I was like, oh, okay. So, slow down a little. All right, fine.
That you got in trouble, Nick.
I did. I got a speed warning.
That's cool. And Jack can do that hill?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, do that hill. Can he start at the top of that hill and eventually be at the bottom of that hill? Yes. Does that happen without falling and standing up a bunch of times? No, not yet.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. Dan would end up in the hospital, broken bones, and it's, man, Arden's been so positive with us from your memory being from your childhood not being stable to me. Arden,
he's just trying to keep us rooted in reality. That's all he's doing,
dude.
He's trying to make sure we stay humble and realistic.
Golly. That's some dark thoughts there. Maybe I'll be a natural man, carving, slicing, dicing.
You might be. You never know.
Now, do you ski at all, or is it all boarding?
All boarding.
Okay.
Like on the water, it's the same way. Like I wakeboard, I don't water ski. Snowboard, don't ski. I like skateboarding, not rollerblading. Like I prefer. I mean, shoot, if they had an option for both feet on one thing for ice skating, I'd probably take that too. But they don't. So that's the one thing I'll put two things on my feet and do. But I very much prefer my feet together on a board, especially, you know what, watching people fall on skis. Like skiers have much more creative ways of hurting themselves than snowboarders do. Like you can fall a lot of different ways on the skis.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like wakeboarding versus water skiing. Water skiing gets gnarly.
So that's not just the only exciting part about this trip, though. It was just the destination. The journey was so much fun because this was my first long drive in the electric Hummer. So,
oh, cool.
I've never driven an electric vehicle somewhere that was far enough away to need a charge to get back.
Very cool. How did that work out?
So the Google Maps knows what kind of car you drive because it's linked up inside your car, and the car tells Google what its kilowatt capacities are in the batteries. So when you plan a map route on your phone, just on Google Maps, it shows you how much with a starting percentage, what percentage you'll be at when you get to where you're going. And it will recommend places based on your return trip, where you should charge. So it actually helps you plan the whole thing really well. It shows you the speed of the different chargers that are on the map, shows you their availability, how many charging stalls there are there, and how many are currently occupied even. So they give you a really good rundown of it. And since this EV Hummer has the newest connectors on it, it can connect to literally any fast DC charger. So, and I've never had this happen before. So I get in, and I'm just going to pull up a quick photo here on my phone. I guess I could share it on here. So we,
did your resort have charging or no?
There was one nearby. We weren't at a resort. We stayed at an Airbnb.
Okay.
And so there, it's a little different, but it was nearby. And so where is this guy? I didn't take a picture of the damn first one, and I should have. But what I'll do is let me share this out real quick. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show it to you right here. This blew my mind. This is on DC fast charging. And I just grabbed a quick screenshot as it was ramping up charging. So you can kind of see there where I'll zoom into the bottom part. That's what its charging rate is. So, and that was not even all the way up. It ended up hitting 328 miles added to the battery per hour. And it does the bulk of that in 40 minutes. And so it's nuts when you pull, when you get below like 15 or 20% battery, it'll start prepping the battery pack for DC fast charging. And so, when it said that, I was like, what do you mean prepping the battery for DC fast charging? I was like, what are you doing to it? And what it does is that if it's cold, it heats your whole battery pack up to 72 degrees to make it an ideal temperature for lithium to absorb power.
What?
And if it's hot outside, it cools the battery pack to that temperature. So it has heating and cooling inside of the battery management system and the whole battery pack itself. And so, and all of a sudden you hear all these fans kick on, and it starts cooling. It starts warming this thing up as I'm driving down the highway in 10-degree weather, because you can't charge batteries in 10 degrees. So anyway, we get up to this thing, and it says, like, you plug it in. It says connecting to your vehicle, negotiating. It says vehicle ready to accept DC fast charging. Hit here to accept, and you hit it, and all of a sudden, like, this the machine you're plugged into, all of its fans kick on. You hear like 18 relays kick off on this thing. And I look at it and like, so mine at home, for example, is like it's like 75 kilowatt hour charging speed at 60 amps. And my house only has 100 amp surface, right? So I'm sucking up 60 of my 100 available amps.
Jeez.
And the charging stations that I stopped at from Electrify America, which is it's a company that's throwing out a bunch of charging stations. They have 350 kilowatt hour charging stations, and it runs at 180 amp.
Jeez.
So they're pulling damn near 200 amps to those stalls. Like, you should see the little fenced in area of transformers they have next to these charging stations. Like, they're in parking lots of Walmarts, and it's got like a section of the parking lot of Walmart carved out.
I was gonna say, so it's at like a restaurant or a store or somewhere where you're gonna occupy time.
Dude, yeah. And literally, I was like, this is going to be the crux of electric vehicles for me. I knew it was going to be my problem with it. I was like, I was worried about it. I was anxious about like, oh God, this is going to suck. It's going to screw up the trip. And, and so I get up there. I started off at 95%, which gives me like a 320-mile range. We're going uphill in 10-degree weather up a mountain. It's like the worst case scenario for an electric vehicle.
Interesting.
And they hate cold, and they suck up tons of power going uphill because the damn thing weighs 9,000 pounds.
See, I've never thought about that. That's so interesting.
It is interesting. And so we get up there and we're like an hour away from the Airbnb. So I'm at like 18% battery. I plug in, we go in Walmart, we grab a couple of things we're going to need for the Airbnb. I come back out. It says 5 minutes remaining till 80%. Nice. And I'm like, what? And so we just charged it to 80, went up there, drove around the 2 days we were up there, didn't even think about a battery. On the way back down, hit the same charger, topped it up to 80, got home, no problems. Like,
cool.
And literally, we didn't have to pit stop for the battery for more than, I think it was 20 minutes each time. It was like 20 minutes once, 20 minutes again.
Awesome.
And I'll have to add on 300 miles of range onto the Hummer was only $48.
Oh, to charge it up?
Yeah, wasn't bad. Cheaper than gas.
I was going to say, what would that translate at $3 a gallon?
$3 a gallon. We assumed this thing was running at about 18 miles per gallon on the highway if it was a gas vehicle, and that's being probably pretty
generous,
So we call that 300 miles of range divided by 18 miles per gallon times $3.50 a gallon for gas. It's like, $58. So it's comparable.
Yeah. Yep. That'll work.
Not terrible.
And that's on a trip, that's not home charging. That's
right.
Okay.
Yeah. Wasn't bad. So, I mean, I was pretty worried, honestly, about like just the stress of like, I don't know. It's like once you get below 20% charge and you're out on the highway, there's something that kind of makes you feel a little uneasy until you realize how many chargers they've put in.
Oh, no, it's the same feeling when you're driving a trip and you pass a rest stop and then you are like, okay, I'll just go pee at the next gas station. Then you're like, why have I gone 20 miles without a gas station or a rest stop or anything? Then you like start to wonder, is it ever going to come? Or like your kids are like, can I go pee? And we're like, we got the next one. And you like fully intend on stopping in 5 minutes. And then there's nothing. And you're like worried the whole time.
Oh yeah. It's like the not knowing part that gets you.
Yep. No. Awesome. I love it. So all in all, good trip. Nice little escape.
Yeah, dude, it was good, man. Like I was very limited still when we got there. Like my neck had still not released quite all the way. So halfway up, the headache came back, So got up there and went to sleep, and it went away again. But I woke up the day we were going to go snowboarding, and still like what got me by the end of the day is whenever I've stopped and have to wait for Jack or Jill, I'd have to look uphill to see where they're coming. So I spent all day stopping and turning my neck like this uphill. And it was literally the most painful thing ever at night. I'm like, the one movement I couldn't do was the only movement I had to do like all damn day.
Yeah.
So I was pretty done at the end of the day. I was like, you know what? Not sure this was the best decision, but hey, we did it. Here we are. But no, all in all, it was good. It was just kind of good to, I had never been on a ski lift with my son before. So that was cool.
That's cool.
It's just like little things like that were kind of the big deals for me, I guess. I was being a cheesy dad. Like there was just stuff I did as a kid and I was just kind of stoked to be doing it with my kid. even if he was losing patience and getting kind of snippy at the end of the day and turning into a 12-year-old through it all, there was still little parts of it where I'm like, yeah, I'll remember that. That was a nice part. Okay,
Core
we'll
memory.
that one.
The other stuff will fall away. Yep.
Yeah, exactly right. Like, and so no, all in all, it was good, man.
Cool. Good. All right, guys, let's go ahead and turn here to the random wheel of tangents. And we got a couple goodies on here. I think we might be able to clear it and get it going soon. And let me see something real quick. See how close.
Oh, I hope it lands on public hygiene.
Yeah, I know. It's been sitting there for like a couple weeks now. And it's like, come on, when is this popping? So, yeah. Okay. And I think we're getting close, and you let me know when we can make the announcement of the guest on the date, and it should be getting closer and closer. But once we're ready to tell you guys, we'll have a date for you.
Did I lock in a tentative date with you on that?
Yes,
I did. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. That means it's still in his head because he's been binge watching our streams to get a sense of the cadence.
That's amazing. So yes.
I'll just throw it. I mean, we can throw out the tentative date, I think, and if it needs to change, maybe we will. But I don't know. What do you think?
Okay, I think so. Guys and girls out there, we have not had it on the wheel for a while because we don't want to use up all the stories beforehand. But we will have on stream, not in the chat, on stream, we will have Cracker Nasty on Tuesday, March 11th. Tuesday, March 11th. The man, the myth, the actual legend. That line is overused.
It really is, but it is not wasted on him.
No. Cracker Nasty, March 11th, guest appearance, and all the stories, all the questions, all the vibes. He's going to be on with us, you guys. I'm excited.
We got Hillsborough County Carey. We got AKA Cracker Nasty, AKA the crackerest, nastiest of all crackers. AKA Master Hennessy will be live in the flesh on the stream. He's excited. We're excited. And barring any international embargoes or any holding cells in any international waters, we will be seeing him here on March 11th.
Ooh, let's go. All right. So put that on the calendar, you guys. Get work off that day. Schedule your lunch. Adjust your dentist appointment. Whatever you got to do. You want to be there live for that one to be able to hang out in the chat.
The best part about all this, I've been thinking about like a PG-13 way to say what Carrie's response was to, hey, man, what's going on? Where are you? When you heading back out to work next? The short answer was that he was heading out in about a week and was making his way up to the port in Mississippi to do so. But he mentioned that he was staying the night at an acquaintance's house and was just waking up there that morning as I was texting him, in bed.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, what's her name?" His response, "I don't know."
That's perfect.
And I'm like, man, I'm so glad that you just haven't changed even a little, because that response just confirms that we're going to get exactly who we think we're going to get on stream.
Yeah. Yep. I'm excited.
Actually,
for that.
It says the response was, "I'm not sure, but she seems nice."
Yeah. All right, Cracker Nasty. We've heard other PG-13 versions of stories that you got to, read between the lines, and there will probably be a bunch of that.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. We have the ability to have a censor button. Can we do maybe we're going to do this stream on maybe like a 5-second delay?
Yeah. Yeah. He starts talking and I get him up.
That's right.
I'll start working on the noises here.
All right. Spin it.
You ready, sir?
I'm ready. Give it a whack.
We shall talk about today.
Okay,
Ooh,
saw Nikki
this
Glazer
is one
this
that was inspired by Julie in the chat. And here we go. First up, we always got to acknowledge your guy Tim here. He said, "You've embraced electric vehicles, and I'm still trying to drive cars 20 plus years old and will never change. We bought my wife a new car in 23, but I'll always want my old V8 cars and trucks."
Dude, Tim, I'm in the exact same boat as you, which is why I have my K5 Blazer with throttle body fuel injection in my garage. Very few electronics as possible. I'm confident that throttle body fuel injection, that TBI system would make it through an EMP too. I looked at the wires and that they're big. There's no microcontrollers in there. I'm gonna make it. Bring it, China.
There you go. All right, Nick. You have, I think, a plethora of options on this one for weird things your parents bought. We know the animal rescue, right? The big cat sanctuary. We've heard about you buying your mom buying a Siberian tiger with you in a parking lot. Mine, I didn't have a ton. My dad had tarantulas when I was growing up, and that was probably the wildest thing that I can think of was tarantulas. But maybe when you give your stories, Tim says it won't. But when you give your stories, it might rattle something for me. So what are some things that stand out to you from your childhood that were strange that your parents bought?
First of all, Tim, really? You think a carbureted car is going to make it through, but a throttle body fuel injection with 2 bull floats in it and a controller that's like this big isn't going to make it through an EMP? Because I kind of want to know your opinion on that, because I'm kind of banking on that it will. So I want to see what you say. But weird things parents bought. Dear God, do I just talk like the Micro Machines man and just keep talking for the next 18 minutes here? Because I mean, I don't know. You want to talk about? Oh, good God! My dad has bought. Not one, not like a boat, but like he once bought a fleet of commercial shark fishing boats and owned it in like a bay out in California because he wanted to go sword fishing more often and didn't like having to schedule with available charters. So he bought the fleet, he bought the charter, hired a captain, and my mom in the chat found herself stepping over some dead, some not dead sharks on the deck of a commercial fishing boat while my dad was laying out on a pole on the front trying to spot sails from swordfish. I mean, so there's a weird one.
Yeah, that's random.
How about living in Missouri and my dad realizing that our driveway was probably long enough to make a runway for an ultralight airplane. And so, of course, within couple of weeks of that realization, we had this thing that kind of looked like a golf cart with wings, and he was perfectly confident to just rip down the driveway, take off in it, and go fly around over the fields for a little bit. Ran out of gas first flight, coasted his way back down and made it right back into the damn driveway without incident. But I mean,
one of these things.
Yep, there you go.
Do you need to be like licensed or anything for that?
Back then, no. It was considered a hobby plane, and you were allowed to fly those with a driver's license.
Wow.
Which was a terrible idea.
Right? That's amazing.
I mean, they can go all the way up to, you can get them up to 15,000 feet. So, I mean, you can go to you can go to decent height with them. Like, you can definitely make it up to like skydive height.
Here's your mom.
That was Phelps Folly. Yeah, that was Phelps's Folly. It was. And I think that was the name of it. And I remember, so at that house, if I'm not mistaken, Mom, that was when we lived next door to that crazy lady with the last name Snelson. And she used to tell you about how she used to go out in the fields in the middle of the night, and that's where the aliens would come down and talk to her. And she was our neighbor.
Love it.
And my dad got it in his head that they were always looking at us. Like every time he'd look outside next to a barn, there was one of them like standing there, just like looking across the field at us.
What?
So my dad painted a 40-foot eyeball on the side of the barn that faced their property. So they had an eyeball staring back at their property the entire time. Anytime they looked over, they saw a giant eyeball because my dad thought that was good.
Amazing. Couple quick ones. Jay's parents, the fake fruit displays on the table.
Dude.
Yes, we had those.
So we had some of those, but I think they were like inherited by my parents, like from their parents or something.
That sounds
right?
likely,
like,
yeah.
I can't blame my parents for buying those, but we definitely had them.
Yeah. Plastic covers for furniture. We did not, but my grandma did.
So that was like a generation beyond I think like my parents would have had plastic covers on the furniture.
Yep. And then real quick update from Tim. He said the electric controller won't survive. For real survivability, all power will need to be disconnected at the time of the EMP blast.
See, kind of that's where I always thought, because my thought with it, Tim, and this is the only reason I was second guessing myself, was because the controller is basically, I mean, a small EMS, right? And then it's kind of like what you have for like, you know, it's like what you'd have now for an ECR, except it's like an old version of it, and it still has power going through it. So if something was to surge, if a fuse didn't stop it, right, or melt a relay, the controller would probably die. So because of that, is why I have a pre-tuned Holly and an intake manifold sitting in my garage that fits that beast. So if it ever does happen, it's a quick swap of a manifold and a quick vacuum test on the carburetor, and I should be back up and running. Same fuel pump, from what I understand.
All right, you got one more, Nick? One more purchase?
One more? I have 75 more. We're like, I'll do one more, though, maybe. Like, what's one more? We lived in an underground house that had skylights that came in from the ground, and you had an indoor pool that was lit by tunnels of light that came off of a hill on the side of a mountain.
Wow.
Crazy things your parents bought. How about we blame this one? My dad was really into Corvettes. Okay. And at one point had one, but it wasn't the year he wanted. He had an 89 and he wanted an 85 because it was the last year of a certain piece of the body style that he wanted. So without talking to my mom about it, he took the only other car that had more than 2 seats in it in the garage, and he drove it to a dealership and traded it in for a 1985 RS Camaro. Now, the problem with that is we are a family of 3. And I don't know if you know this or not, but Corvettes only have 2 seats. Mm. So my job as a kid, this is just great late 80s, early 90s stuff here, is my seat in the Corvette was laying down in the back under the hatchback while we went places as 3 of us. Or I would sit kind of like on the center console, leaned way back, like kind of half into the hatchback, like just, pre-positioned to slide straight through the windshield if we got in an accident.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was cool. Yeah, we had 2 Corvettes and 3 people.
Okay.
And only 2 of them could drive.
So we have a 4Runner, and it's the three levels for the seats. Maddox sits in the very back. It's got like 2 spots. One is down for like storage, but he gets out of the hatch. He gets in through that. Rather than like putting the middle seat down, we just pop open the back. The one side is down. He just pops in through there. And anytime we're at like restaurants or stores, I'm always like, what do people think when I go to the back, I open it, and my son gets out?
Put a leash on him next time, then you'll really get some looks.
Ooh, he'd be down too. He'd be down. Man, yeah, that's a good topic. That one might have to come back again one day.
Palm cockatoos. I mean, just motorcycles. We've moved next door before. I mean, God, we have all kinds of crazy things here. We'll leave that one on for a while.
I like it. All right, let's hit here. Another one. All right. Beard nightmares. Now, this one shouldn't be as long, but somebody just wanted to know if we have had beard nightmares, and then if so, what are they? And for me, I used to. I don't really remember my dreams anymore, which I'm very thankful of. I never liked remembering my dreams.
Oh, that's what you think this means. Okay.
Yeah. And so they actually reached out and had a story where they woke up and thought they shaved their beard, and they panicked and they were like grabbing their face, and like actual nightmares about it. I used to. I 100% one time woke up and legitimately thought my beard was gone. I woke up profusely sweating. I woke up like not doing good, not like, oh my gosh, that was a dream. It was like real, like visceral reaction. But that was probably 4 or 5 years ago, and I haven't really had a lot of dream memories since then. And I'm so thankful for that, because I was, again, never a fan of dreams. I know a lot of creative people and love them stuff. Nope, not me. I want to control my thoughts. So, but I had that one. Horrendous feeling. And it was like, I forgot how it got there. I just was like, in my mind was like, oh, I'm over this thing. I need a change, and I want to see my face. And none of those thoughts ever happen in reality. Like, it's not an actual thing. And it was a horrible feeling. Like, I'm not even like horrible sweat, just soaked. We had to wash the sheets immediately because I was just so like distraught over it.
Dude, I have nightmares about everything all the time.
Dang.
But oh yeah, definitely.
You remember them?
I remember dreams. I remember every dream I have just about, and I remember them for a long time, and I write a lot of them down.
I thought there was a common factor that allowed me not to remember dreams, but maybe it's not.
Nope.
Interesting.
Nope. Yeah. So beard nightmares. So I took that as like beard nightmares, like oh my God, this thing happened to my beard and it was a nightmare. You know what I mean? Like egg yolk got in there and I was out in a public place. Or one time I went out to lunch and then went out for afterwards and then realized that 2 hours later in the bathroom that I had mayonnaise in my mustache and it had definitely been there the past 2 hours. Like,
or,
you know, that kind of stuff.
When you were teaching middle school and you did a fundraiser, and as long as the kids earned enough money, they could pie you in the face because you have a beard, and they pied you in the face, and then you went, and this is just a hypothetical, guys, and then you went into the middle school bathroom for the staff, and you rinsed your beard and got all of it out of there, and then you went to a swim meet in a very humid and hot, like pool area, natatorium, and you are just going about it. And at one point, your assistant coach goes, "What smells?" And you're like, "I don't know. I've smelled it too. There's something really weird out here today." And then you just go about it. You get home at probably 9:00 that night because it was a big league swim meet.
You're like, why is the house smell like that pool?
Noon. And Sam, or whoever this person, the story is like, the wife is like, "What is that ungodly smell? You stink." And then you realize it was actual real like whipped cream, not artificial stuff. So dairy, and it was in your beard, and you only rinsed it out, and then it went rancid and was just smelling the entire swim meet. When you're talking face to face with your swimmers, you're handshaking other coaches, and you smelled like everything you never want beards to smell like.
Oh, dear God. You definitely gave someone the thought in their head that they were never going to date someone with a beard that day.
Yeah.
There's some poor girl that was on that swim team that still will not even consider a guy with facial hair because she thinks they all smell like that.
Yep.
Look what you've done.
And I was simply trying to help a charity. Why do I always get my hand smacked trying to do
no
good things?
deed goes unpunished, tough guy.
Ever.
It's just how it works.
Ever. Well, Jacob, he lives in northern Michigan, so this checks out. He says his beard was freezing, then fell off.
Are you sure that was a dream? Because
right,
it's cold.
Oh, Dennis had where they're all tied together and pulled out. Oh,
only good.
At once. Oh,
so
man,
I had this coming to me because one of my nightmares correlated to a really mean trick that I played on a kid in school when I was in like kindergarten or first grade. I convinced him that there was a hair on everybody's head that was your key hair.
Oh.
And if you pulled it out, all the rest of your hairs fell out.
Nice.
And that I used to mess with him every day by walking up and plucking one of his hairs out and be like, oop, wasn't that one.
Could have been.
Could have been. So I had a dream one time that I got my hair caught in a drawer and I closed the drawer and it was my key hair of my beard. So I pulled it out and all the rest of my hairs fell out with it.
That's called karma.
That was definitely karma.
That was like my swim coach. Probably shouldn't say this. Sounds illegal, but my swim coach in high school, he'd come up in the taco meat, the chest hair. He'd put his finger in his thumb and grab a big bunch and go odd or even. And then he'd count them. I'd have to guess. He'd count them. If I got it wrong, he'd do it again. And it would odd or even. It was ripping out my chest hair.
No, you definitely wouldn't be allowed to do that anymore.
Nah, I think you get a little bit of trouble now. Yeah, little bit of trouble now.
Oh, dude, you could totally Me Too that guy.
Right. And he once I left teaching, he turned on me pretty hard too. So it's maybe I will. Yeah, maybe I will. My football coach did that. Yeah, what was up with like those days of like doing
the
like,
razzing?
Yeah, now that could you imagine like teacher rips out chest hair from a minor, like
it would be national news.
Yeah, that would
like
be bad.
That would literally be like, Good Morning America. Cornea. What was he thinking?
Right.
Tony Hinchcliffe would work it into one of his bits. Like, it would go everywhere.
Yeah, we were doing a kick set. So you have a kickboard and you kick behind it and you're just heads above the water. And my coach was like, just trying to mess with his mornings. We had morning practice. We practiced literally before school every single day. We had practice at 5 a.m. You had to leave at 4:30. It was horrendous. And so the lights would be off and it'd be just this kind of like mellow vibe with just the underwater lights on. So we're doing a kick set and he thought it'd be funny and thought he would take a Capri Sun, like a Frisbee, and give it to the kids to drink. Well, I wasn't paying attention when he Frisbee me this Capri Sun. Hit me in the eye, traumatized cornea at swim practice before school. Had to wear a patch for a week. Because I got Frisbee Capri Sunned in the eye.
Coach assaults student with
same coach.
No. Oh, and it wouldn't even be like coach hits kid with Capri Sun. It would have been Coach assaults student with razor sharp foil package.
Yep. No, and I still loved the coach. Like, he was, even after all that stuff, I would run through a wall for that dude.
Well, it's because he didn't do anything wrong. It was a freak accident.
Harmless. Yep. 100%.
One more?
All right. Yes. Let's hit it.
We got
the key one there. I've never heard that. That's a good one.
Oh, that's key air. I was such a jerk.
All right. Somebody just wanted to know, are there any new scents on the horizon?
There are. And since it's, not a new scent, but a new, hold on, so sorry. There is a scent that exists working its way into new products. And since it's being bottled tomorrow, I'm perfectly happy to announce it so that everyone here knows about it before everybody else does. I think that's a good thing to do.
I love it.
We have lemongrass ginger being worked into beard wash and beard conditioner, getting bottled tomorrow. So that will be tomorrow. Yep, that'll be up online in stock. We'll send out a notification on that tomorrow. But that's exciting.
Super cool.
And as far as
guys, awesome.
Hell yeah. And as far as new scents are concerned, none that none that I'm going to talk about.
Not yet.
Nope. None that I'm going to talk about. We kind of, you know what? It's like we'll definitely always try to work them in, but I think we'll give you kind of some brief sneak hints. But I think Jill wants to keep the couple that I know are coming close under pretty close wraps until they're like actually ready to launch.
Amazing.
But to answer the question, new sense ? Affirmative, all caps, yes, !
I love it. So people can expect the website tomorrow for the shower products, lemon, gingergrass. Oh my gosh, lemongrass ginger.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there you guys go. You literally heard it here first.
That's it.
Awesome. Okay, the two I was most excited about. Let's see here which one it will fall on. I was excited about the parents one too. That was a good one. And there you go, Nick. There you go. The other one's way too big to try to force in, so we will save ancient conspiracy theories. But public hygiene, this was all they said. That was the entirety of their entry, was public hygiene. You have some thoughts, Nick. What are you thinking?
I had some immediate thoughts, and what I'll do, since we only have a minute left, is I won't say any of them except for one. And it's not I have so many gripes about public hygiene. I have so many, like the amount and way people touch things, and the lack of what people just consider the bare minimum and something that they should just kind of do as a human that lives around other humans on a planet.
Yep.
Drives me absolutely crazy. But instead of going into any of that, I will leave everybody on a very humorous and positive note and bring up, did you know in Iceland they have shower monitors for this very reason of concern of public hygiene? So when you go to a pool, you go to a spa, you go to a hot tub, you go to a natural attraction where you swim in water at the Blue Lagoon. Okay. You go to a hotel pool, public pool, Airbnb pool. There is a public shower that you must enter before going into said body of water.
Okay.
You are not allowed to go into that shower clothed. And there is a shower monitor in every one of said facilities that makes sure that you are all the way naked in that shower. And it is perfectly normal. No one thinks twice about it. And you can even look up on YouTube, look up Iceland shower monitors. And they'll be like, oh, and you'll see some guy being like, oh, American, no, little dirty dirt ball, take off the pants. And it's like they literally will like just kind of like lightly haze you. They're like, it's like I was shocked, but yes, it is a human being that stands in the public shower area looking around to make sure no one has underwear on in the shower stall because everyone's scared. It's like a big room, and if you're not from a country where this is normal, it's kind of weird to go into a room and strip down naked.
Wow.
Well, there's a guy that tells you, he's like, I heard him tell someone when I was there. He's like, I know it's not normal everywhere, but here it's perfectly fine. Go ahead and drop them off, or else you'll be the weird one.
Right. Are they clothed?
Yes. Very interesting question, Nate.
Yeah.
I'm remembering that you asked that. But yes, they are clothed. All the times I've told that story, not one person has ever asked me if the bathroom monitor is clothed.
That's a great question.
You know, I like you more and more every time we interact, Nate.
For me, hygiene, obviously body odor is a huge one, all this stuff. But for me, and I don't know why it bothers me so much, but it's bare feet on a plane.
Dude, do not take your shoes off on an airplane.
I can't, and I don't know if I've gone on a flight without seeing it once.
Oh, dude, try flying to go to Malaysia or Australia.
Yeah.
They think that airplane is their living room.
Oh,
they're on the floor. Like they're like on the floor, legs out, clipping toenails and picking out stuff under a finger. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's that's a bad one. Or if you're driving and I get people pick their nose and stuff. It's gross. But if you ever see an adult or even a kid, but if you see an adult consume it and eat it,
you almost want to call in a wellness check.
Like there's when that not happens. Much worse. That's got to be childhood trauma, right? I'm being 100%
You've
serious.
said this before, and we agree that it is a form of mental illness likely caused by early childhood trauma.
Okay, because
I'm not that kind of doctor, but in my professional opinion, that's where that comes from.
Because it's wild, and I just saw it the other day. It was a lady, and it was just like picked, inspected, and then popped, and it's just like,
come on.
It's about as close.
I do have a question on that.
Yeah.
Do you think there is a no-go decision?
Why are they analyzing it?
Being made at stage 2 of that process.
I don't even want to think about what would be acceptable and what's not. Where are they?
Is there multiple? Is there multiple options for the step 3?
Oh no. Okay.
Is there a put it back in option? Right? I mean, you got to think if it's okay to go somewhere else, it must be okay to just go right back in, right? Is it like pass? Or
wet, dry,
return to sender, or this one's not quite ready yet.
Is there a color chart?
Right.
Is there a treat? Yeah. Ball or buffet.
All I know is that if you ever see someone do that you actually know, and anything you do or say ever makes them gag, you have to really question yourself because they've made it through far worse.
Right. Have you seen, I know we got to go, but have you seen those avocado ripeness monitors?
No.
So stores now, I got to find it real quick. This blew my mind.
What?
So they have monitors at stores that will tell you the percentage of here it is right here.
Holy crap, I see it.
The percentage of how ripe it is.
You don't want to know why? It's because everyone in New England thinks they hate these crunchy ass things called avocados. You would not believe the way people try to eat certain, I've seen people cut through and then try to consume literally crunchy avocado. I've seen people here bite into a peach and it sounded like an apple. And I'm like, do you guys think that peaches are crunchy?
Right.
Is it just you don't know what's ripe? Or is it that you just don't get ripe stuff up here? So you just think certain things are the way they are. I don't get it. The world needs this because in my experience, no one knows how to pick out avocados properly.
I think it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Well, and after watching one of those Rotten episodes, the one about avocados, we all know that there is plenty of money to be made to support this sort of apparatus, making people's experience more pleasant.
There you go. There you go. All right, guys, we got to hit it. The doctor's got to run. Thank you for hanging out with us again. March 11th, Cracker Nasty, live or on replay. We got you covered. We'll be back here next week. We hope to see you guys. Keep a lookout for the Dr. Nick's Instagram story, probably on Monday or Tuesday next week, where there will be new entries for you guys to put a topic for whatever you want to talk about. It's been a couple weeks because we had to get through the existing ones, but we got a clear slate, and so we want to hear some new, fresh topics. Thank you guys for hanging out today. Nick, final words for our friends.
My final words are short and sweet. I got a meeting starting in 25 minutes that I got to be home for. So we will see you on Chris Wilson's birthday, which is March 4th. May the March. What's the Star Wars rhyme for that? He's a Star Wars guy, and it's on the 4th. You can't use May the 4th be with you. It's got to be like something in there about a March
4th word.
March 4th.
All right, see you guys. We'll see you on Tuesday.